Good afternoon. Welcome to Pike Creek Farm. My name is Renee. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping in. You can hear my husband mowing the lawn. Well, before he mowed the lawn, I went outside to get a bucket full of daisies. I gotta get it going on these. They're starting to wilt. I am going to try and make, for the very first time ever, not daisies, dandelion jelly. So I have all the tops. I have to get this green part off, and I need to have 4 cups of the yellow. So I'm gonna sit here at the counter and attempt this. So thought I'd bring you along. First time making dandelion jelly. It's supposed to taste like honey, and I thought it would be a nice addition to our pantry. Ignore the dishes. I've been doing all kinds of things this morning. That's next on the list, but I need to take care of these and make a tea out of it. You steep these in water, hot water, and it makes a tea. And the pictures I've seen, the tea's kind of brown, but you get this beautiful yellow, amber color jelly. So it's magic. Fascinates me. Might be a flop, but I'm just out my effort. This morning, I'll post the picture. Ellie was out with me. She likes it out in the yard. So let's get to trimming these dandelions. So I picked 10 cups of the dandelions. I tried to avoid the stems. You see there are some stems, so I gotta take those off. And what I read was you pinch to get this green part off. And if you have a little bit of green, it's okay, but you don't want a lot because it's bitter. And honey shouldn't be bitter. So this, I think, is going to take a while. It's not hard, it just takes time. So hang on to the yellow part. Whoop. There. See? And into. So I'm gonna move this stuff, rearrange. I grabbed some scissors just in case, but I don't think I'll need the scissors, so I'm gonna take that stem off and now pull. I have made salads using the leaves before. We don't spray our grass, and the fields around us have not been sprayed yet this spring. So this was a great opportunity for me to try this experiment. I'm gonna keep doing this. Probably don't want to watch me for however long this takes. So I'll bring you back when I have this full. Have them all in here. This is a tedious job, really tedious. So I'm gonna make my tea in this jar, which is like 2 quarts. So I think that will be enough. Making sure there's no big green hunks in here. So these are gonna go into this jar. This is the jar I put my juice in. And I open up my cranberry or grape juice. And we're gonna pour 4 cups of boiling water over it. And I have my kettle going. Okay, I got 4 cups of water. Ah! that I am spilling all over. I don't like the spout on this. Let's get that all down. Here is what it looks like. Put a lid on it. There we go. See, that's my juice. I'm gonna clean up where I made a mess here and let this sit. I'm gonna double check my directions, make sure I didn't miss anything. Always do that. And I'll let you know if I did, and I'll come right back. It is the next day, and here is my dandelion tea. Husband didn't think it looked too appealing. But what we have to do now is strain it out. I have a fine mesh strainer, but I am also going to add cloth in there. I'm not going to double layer since I do have the fine mesh. Hopefully that's not a mistake. We're going to pour it through. I don't need this lid on. Squeeze out the extra juice. We need like 3.5 cups. If we don't quite have that, we will add water. My hands are clean. So this is pretty brown looking. I'm gonna put, it is. We have 4 cups, so that turned out great. We have the right amount. So now I need to get the rest of the ingredients, and we will make the jelly and then jar it up. And I'm going to use my steam canner to process it. I like using my steam canner. It's not as heavy and it's not as much water. Okay, we are ready to start making the jam. I need 3 out of the 4 cups of dandelion juice, tea. So take it down to 1 cup. And I tasted this, and it's actually, it tastes like tea. Like I would drink it as iced tea. A little more. Okay, so we put the rest of that tea to the back. I'll drink it. And we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. This morning we opened up a jar of, I had made pear preserves last year, and I didn't do a video. I will this year. In the last jar there was no pear or lemon slices, just the syrup, and oh my gosh, it's like honey with pear flavor. It is so good. So I'm going to add 1 box of Sure-Jell. Turn the heat on, and we're gonna bring this to a boil. Stir in, mix this all together. After it comes to a boil, we will add in the sugar. And when it comes back to a boil, we will time it for 1 to 2 minutes. And I have this bad habit of sometimes not trusting the process and boiling my jam too long, and it ends up rubbery, not nice and spreadable. So then I have to melt it and use it for something. So trust the process. Don't do as I do and think, oh no, it's not going to work. You can also test your jam. You can put a spoon of it on a plate and put it in the freezer and see if it gels up in a few minutes. Before I got to this stage, I had sterilized my jelly jars. I got all my canning supplies out. I have my steam canner ready to go on the stove next. And I have the rings, the lids. First, I'm going to add in 4.5 cups of sugar. I don't think I pointed out, but it had turned a golden color. So add this to get it all melted. Dissolved, I guess, is the proper term. I saw someone made this and then they added blue dye to it. It was beautiful in the jars, but I don't want to really add dyes to mine. But it was beautiful. It's starting to dissolve, and it's starting to feel thicker as I'm stirring it too. It's starting to boil, but you want it to be a hard boil that you can't stir down. And we are there. We are at the hard boil. I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute. I'm going to do another 30 seconds. Got the bottom of my steam canner out. I have the water, I have the burner on to start heating up the water. For mine, you add water to, I could actually add some more. You want it up to the top of this shelf. And then we put the jars in here, we put the lid on, and we bring it up to the right amount of temperature according to the gauge on the top. Well, I have 3 jars done already. I realized I didn't have the camera recording like I thought. So, let's fill the jars. We need a 1/4 inch headspace. I have my flat lids soaking in hot water. 4 jars does recommend that. Let's wipe the rim, make sure there's no sugary stuff on there. Put the flat lid on. Put the ring on to finger tight. And here it is. Isn't it pretty? And onto the steam canner. Okay, here's another jar. I did sterilize my jars. And then I had them in my sink with boiling water poured into them to keep them warm. This is sticky. There's 1/4 inch. I don't think you're really going to get any bubbles in this that need to be debubbled, but it's my habit. Wipe the rim. Just making sure there's no stickiness on there. Get one of my lids. Now, I do not soak my 4-jar lids if I'm doing pressure canning, which I do a lot of that. So put this one in. Let me show you how much I have left. I might be able to get a 1/4 pint. Here we go. Let's see if there's enough. If not, this will end up in the fridge. And this is getting thick and sticky in here, so I guess that's a good sign. Just need a little more. There we go. Get the sticky stuff off the edge. Get my flat lid. Finger tight. So one little one. How everything looks on the canner. This is my steam canner. I still have some tea left. That I will probably put in a glass with some ice. Let me get the lid. Here's the lid. And on the top, I'm making all kinds of glare, is a gauge. And there's an area where it's green. Maybe when it's flat I can show you. And I have marked, I did a test like the directions say, and I have it marked where I need that gauge to go. So let's put the lid on. Reminds me of a big cake pan. This gives you a better view. So I needed to get to the second mark. And then I can set my timer for 10 minutes. It is to the second black mark, so I am going to set my timer for 10 minutes. You can hear it. It sounds like a, I don't know, like a windstorm or something. The timer's gone off. Turn off the stove, and I'll wait 5 minutes to remove the lid. Let's take the lid off. Woo! I heard like 4 pops in a row. It is boiling in there. There's another pop. I'm gonna set these over on the counter on a cloth. Do you see that bubble? It's boiling in there. I never would have thought, the way that tea looked last night, that this would end up being this pretty. Here they all are. I think the only one that hasn't sealed so far is the last one I did. So we'll see if it seals. If it doesn't, I will put it in the fridge. But it looks like honey. It is just beautiful golden. And 5 half pints and 1/4, which just sealed. So, thank you for joining me today on my new adventure of making dandelion jelly. I like the idea of using what's in my yard to put food on my pantry shelves.
So thank you for joining me today. If you like this video, if you push the like button, it really helps my channel. And subscribe if you want to see more canning videos and videos on vintage recipes and cooking and baking and life here at Pike Creek Farm. See you next time at Pike Creek Farm.